So the next section we're going to look at is warning signs. So why are these important?
Well, they're very important because they help us understand when we might need to use our safety plan. They're also those early indicators that our mood might be starting to dip, that life might be getting a little bit more on top of us. And these warning signs can present in all kinds of different ways. It might be perhaps repetitive thoughts, it might be a lack of concentration, we might be procrastinating a little bit more, we might have this sense of impending doom, we might be isolating ourselves from other people, and broadly speaking we can put them into a few categories related to our thoughts, our feelings, and essentially our behaviours really. And it's important that when we notice these early warning signs popping up within our life that we don't ignore them, because the longer that we leave them, the more likely we are to reach that point of a suicidal crisis or really needing some kind of intense help and support. So when we notice ourselves slipping in terms of our mood and we notice these warning signs, we respond to them immediately and we put in practical steps and simple strategies to start lifting our mood and looking after our well-being.
Well, I hear voices and I realise that when my thoughts of suicide are getting worse, the voices are getting louder. They don't actually want me to die because they know that will be the end of them. So they get quite argumentative with me, but then that makes me more determined that actually I want to put an end to all of it. I also notice that my mood drops a lot and I start to become uninterested in things, don't want to go out and be with other people, and find everyday tasks quite difficult.
Yeah, definitely anniversaries are a big one, and to be aware of them, it was important because I know as certain anniversaries come up I can do more to look after myself, to get through certain days and to be kind on myself as well, because yeah, there are days when it may be particularly difficult and that's okay.
I think for me, the warning at the time, for a long time, I suffered from flashbacks and panic attacks. And I did have a visual warning. It often happened when I was driving, if I was driving to work on the motorway and so on, and I would sense a sort of dimming of colours and sound. So the colours around me, the colours of the cars, for example, and things like that, would become almost greyish, almost as if it was becoming like a sepia scene. And it would sound like the sound was being turned down. And then I knew that I was going to have a panic attack or a flashback, and immediately after that I would feel suicidal, because I would feel that I didn't know whether I would come out of that, and I didn't want to live my life like that. So I did experience this physical sensations and so on, and other times the feeling is also, if I feel completely overwhelmed by a situation, that I can sense myself feeling, I don't know the answer to this. I don't know how I'm going to get out of this situation. And I then would go back to my safety plan, to my cards and so on, and look at the options.
Okay, and I suppose that it makes real sense, doesn't it, that it might be the people around us that might pick up on our sort of changes in behaviour more. So should they be aware of our safety plan?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we can spend a little bit of time trying to identify these signs ourselves, but actually there's going to be friends, family members, people who know us that might be able to give us some level of insight when our mood is dipping or that we are finding things a little bit more difficult. So we're getting that outsider perspective essentially on what these warning signs could look like, but also sharing these warning signs with our friends and family is really useful as well, so that they can notice when those changes might be happening us, when we might be blinded by those perhaps overwhelming thoughts or feelings.
So for me, my warning signs are wanting to be alone, not talking to anyone, keeping myself to myself, staying quiet, having thoughts of self-harm, not eating or overeating. Yeah, so my main person is my mum. She knows me more than I know myself, and she's been the biggest help from start to finish. She knows exactly what to do and what to say and helps me get out of that awful place that I'm in. She helps me understand what's going on and helps me identify how exactly I'm feeling, because sometimes I don't even know how I feel. Because she's my mum, she knows, so she helps.
So when I get the warning signs, it's sort of, I start feeling like anxious, worried about things that haven't even happened. I start walking around my house, not knowing why. I don't know, I've got autism as well, so obviously it's like a bit of a trigger point. And just not knowing what to do, my heart rate starts raising, I start getting hot, I start getting just absolutely self-sabotaging myself, and just, it's just like the what if. And just self-sabotaging over things that haven't even happened and getting in my own head about things that have happened in the past, and it's just really feeling like low and just at the point of like, I don't know what to do. So this is when I start feeling like, oh, I might as well just have a few beers to get rid of it, and it's sort of like you say, it's just like this vicious circle.
For me, when I was planning my suicide, it was hard to actually notice any warning signs. It got to the point because I lost my job through being in hospital 3 times. I'd worked 15 years at that job. My ex went off with somebody else. I think it was more for me was I didn't want to live. The warning signs, I would say, was my mum picked up on. She had warning signs because I didn't pick my grandson up out of his pushchair. That was the only warning sign she had, and she feared then. So others will pick up on them warning signs, even if you don't display them warning signs. Others will pick up and listen to them. If they've got warning signs that's concerning for them, for you, your safety, listen to them, because Mum didn't share hers till afterwards. So it's important. Listen to close people. I wish they'd had the confidence to say to me, but you always wish. It was my mum. She didn't want to discuss them things to me.